Your sister launches a chick-chack, and the Cyclones gear up for the attack. Highlight is back, Jack. When the Warriors are running through, pick up the phone and call Manu. When the Renegades are moving in, the Cyclones will step up and win. When the fronton is getting packed, that's how you know that Highlight is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, Highlight is back, Jack. The Lotus flying through the air.
I genuinely like this sport.
So we better see you there when they remate. Rebote like a maniac. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Highlight is back, Jack.
For my rotator cuff, so please be gentle.
Highlight is back, Jack. Highlight is back. Highlight is back, Jack.
We did it, everybody. We made it to the weekend. That's right. Today's Friday. Everybody give it up. Give it up for the weekend. Who doesn't like the weekend?
WrestleMania's ass.
Whoever said, oh, I hated that the weekend.
Is that going on this week? Really?
They should promote it.
It snuck up on us.
Ooh,
What
there's
channel
Trick
is it
Williams on Get Up.
They should let us know. Hate when it sneaks up on us like that. Mike does not like the omen that just took place. Why are you upset? What's going on?
The first few bars of Highlight is back, Jack, and the Cyclones have a win and in scenario tonight against the Warriors at the Jam Arena.
Wait, so the season is about to be over? It's almost playoff time?
So in Battlecourt Highlight, there's a fall season with a very short off season. We won the fall championship, and then the spring season. And after that is a longer off season for Battlecourt, so people get a little confused. But you basically have 2 championships in 1 calendar year. Spring season is winding down. We're entering the final week of the regular season. The Cyclones finally got off the schneid earlier this week, got our first win in about 6 match days. Now we find ourselves in a win and in scenario against the very same Warriors that we beat. It's Battlecourt's oldest rivalry. And we'll be out at the Jam Arena. Come on out. Come for the highlight. Stay for the TJ Miller stand-up set.
So if it's a win and in situation, is it also a lose or go home situation?
No, because there's another match day, and I think even if we lose, we still have a chance, depending on how the rest of the fixtures go.
We can make the final few matches not that important. If we win today, we can secure our spot.
We can coast. Let's secure our spot. You want to play for seeding. There's so much parity in Battlecourt this
Everyone
year.
knows that.
Well, it's not typically the case, but there is an advantage when it comes to seedings. You get to decide your tiebreaker doubles team. So we'll see. We benefited from being the 1 seed during the fall season. We hit a real lull this year, adjusting to this new court. Rumor is they changed the pelota, Chris, which is the source of a lot of complaints.
I mean, is that collectively
peloteros.
bargained? Can you just change the pelota?
I mean, it needed to. They just changed the dimensions of the fronton on us, So
I don't want to say too much on air, but you got to keep an eye on this league sometimes. That's all I'll say.
Can we welcome our pal out on the West Coast, Dave Damashek? Hello, Dave.
Oh, thank goodness. My heart is full as society's greatest empath. I was worried sick about all of you there in Miami. What were you going to do to fill the springtime without the Heat and the Panthers in the playoffs? Yeah. I've been given my answer. You have WrestleMania and Battlecourt highlights.
Marlins baseball.
Distract you.
Dave and I had a great exchange on Twitter a couple of days ago in regard just a couple guys sharing WrestleMania moments as children, huh, Dave?
That's right. That's right. I mean, the greatest, to be honest, my attention kind of wanes around or after the $1 Million Man chapter of WWE, WWF. But WrestleMania 3, I went with my pal Josh. We went to the Igloo in Pittsburgh with 18,000 other Yinzers and watched on closed circuit. Not live, you understand. They just had... sort of in the middle of where the where center ice is, They just had this four-sided, I think, in fact, they lowered the scoreboard down and the monitors, I think is maybe what they did. And they just showed from the Silverdome in Detroit, they showed WrestleMania 3, and like a bunch of goons, we gathered around and looked at monitors in an arena where the event wasn't taking place and watched perhaps the greatest bouts in the history of people. Specifically, Zaz, we talked about the penultimate one that night. It was the Macho Man Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat in their famous rematch after, if I'm not mistaken, Macho Man took the bell.
He crushed his larynx.
Right. That's right. That's what it was. Like I was a little hazy on the details there.
Dave, I know you're from Pittsburgh, and I know you guys call yourselves a certain thing, but when you say Yinzers, it sounds like a slur.
It does. Like, if I call you a Yinzer, is that a slur?
I don't think it's one of those things. I can call myself
Look at this
and
Yinzer.
my people that. I'd rather you not do that.
Yeah,
I
Tony,
don't like that.
Tony. Whoa.
Look at
Cool.
this.
That's
what I'm saying.
Tone on that.
Look at this
Wow.
blank is always going to sound like a slur.
Shocking. Didn't expect
I'll do a
it to
top.
go in that
I'll come up with a
direction.
top 5 words that sound like slurs but aren't.
I told
I want you to deliver it. Yes, you be the one.
I told Dave that I had the same experience for WrestleMania 6 in 1990 when I was 9 years old. My father took me to Miami Arena, and because back then pay-per-view was like a rumor. Like, who knew how to order pay-per-view? And my father took me to WrestleMania 6 on closed circuit television at Miami Arena, where you bought a ticket. It was probably like $5, if that. You bought a ticket. You sit anywhere you want in the lower bowl at Miami Arena, and there were 2 massive projection screens on the floor, and we watched WrestleMania 6 on closed circuit television. Crazy. That's the way that it used to be. Now you can watch it on ESPN. We'll circle back to that. Good news last night. Right? Good news last night as far as the Florida Panther fan is concerned. The Panther season ended a couple of nights ago, but you had a few more games last night, specifically Western Conference teams last night as the NHL regular season ended. We were rooting for, we needed a couple of the bad teams right above us to at least get a point. I think it was the Sharks and the Blues.
Yeah.
And both of them won. All right, so as a result, there is a small consolation, right, Roy? There's a small consolation for the Panthers at the end of this season where they do actually get to keep their first-round pick no matter what. They're currently in the 8th slot. At worst-case scenario, they would be jumped by 2 teams, which would drop them to 10. The pick is top 10 protected. So there you go, right, Roy? Last night was one of the lone good nights of the season for the Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers are looking at either picking first, second, 8th, 9th, or 10th in this upcoming draft.
While we're on hockey and we have the noted Yinzer with us here, Dave, I'm sure you like the playoff format because it harkens back to a bygone era and it's been here for a while. But it is patently absurd. I'm sure you're psyched that you get to play the Flyers. You hate them, great rivalry. But if we're doing this thing 1 through 8, that's the 7 versus the 8 seed in the East. Those 2 teams are playing for a chance to advance to the second round. This is nonsense.
Yeah, I think it is ultimately nonsense, but you do touch on the fact that I love my rivalries. I don't love having to play the Philadelphia Flyers because of the possible, the eventuality that the Flyers win that series. That would be a disgrace and a gut punch to me that would be hard to overcome. But yes, you're absolutely right, Mike Ryan. It's a weird thing that it's sort of, in case people don't know, it kind of jams you to... I kind of get it spiritually that you have to survive your little region of Hockey North America to then move on to a larger tournament. Basically, you have to get through 2 rounds, essentially, of your own division to then move on to play for the conference title and then advance to the Stanley Cup final.
But
go ahead, Mike.
They load the schedule up with more division opponents, right? So you get a pretty good idea of who the best is in the region. I
kind of dig, though, again, like I say, spiritually, that that rhetoric that you hear before a game is like, huh, there are no secrets between these two ancient rivals. I kind of do dig that, and it's sort of the greatness of a hockey series, and you get this from the NBA playoffs as well, and to some degree baseball playoffs too. But those, when a series goes 7 games, not just everybody on your team, every person you're going against, and you grow to hate them over the course of that week or 2 week stretch. By 2 weeks from now, I will hate every single Philadelphia Flyers. I mean, I already do hate them naturally, but the investment of hate and familiarity and all of that is good stuff, right? I mean, that's what we want in sports.
Can you actually draw it up real quick here, Mike, just for context? If the NBA did that, what would it look like? Like the 3 teams in the Atlantic, the 3 in the what would it and 2 wild cards? What would it look like?
The Hawks are going to be huge benefactors of this.
Yeah, I'd like to know what it would look like if the NBA playoff format, which is also 8 teams per conference, 82 games, same thing, what it would look like there. I think,
don't we kind of want that, though, Zaz? Isn't that? I mean, isn't that what kind of boosts college football to a degree?
Well,
SEC versus Big Ten and all the rest of it. That we kind of get into that.
So
this stands to reason. Then
I get what you're saying, and I think it's been about trying to enhance rivalries. All right, and I think this has actually worked for the Panthers and for the Panther fan, because before they went to this format, now granted the Panthers were never making the playoffs, but with this format, and now over the last 5 consecutive years up until this year that the Panthers were in the playoffs, because of this format, yes, the Panthers were always going to be rivals with the Lightning, but we get to play the Lightning as many times as we did. We're talking 4 times in the last 5 years the Panthers played the Lightning in the postseason, but also the matchups with Boston and the matchups with Toronto. Like, if not for this format, we wouldn't have this rivalry with the Panthers in Boston and the Panthers in Toronto. So it has worked in that sense for a team like the Panthers.
Well, because of this format, though, we had the Kings play the Oilers 4 years in a row, and
that I don't like.
Every single series.
Yeah, like that's tough. That I don't like. And by the way, Dave Damashek, how about the very rare Stanley Cup final rematch in the first round of the playoffs? The Lightning and the Canadiens are facing off in the first round this year. That was the Stanley Cup final in 2021, because he had the wacky
we didn't count that.
No conferences,
That counts for half at best, and now that you say it out loud a half decade later,
That's
think
weird.
Maybe we should just make it. I agree. Maybe it even just counts for a third of a regular Stanley Cup. The more now that we're steeped in this conversation for a few minutes,
Chris
I'm
looks
now
confused,
going
by the
all
way,
in
Dave.
on-
Chris, are you confused that the Canadiens and the Lightning played in the Stanley
Yes,
Cup final?
I was more thinking this was like decades ago, and maybe it was. But then Roy
was like
reminded
5
me.
years ago,
Yeah,
right?
Roy reminded me of the COVID thing. That's right.
All right, go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Now that we've had this little exchange, I've come around on it. I get the fairness issue. I think people get a little too precious about that series should not be played. You hear that in the NFL playoffs too. Like, oh, well, this is unjust that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are facing off in the divisional round. This is championship game material. Like, who gives a crap? They're playing each other in the playoffs. As long as we get to see the series. And again, that familiarity breeding hatred and all of that, that's good stuff for this sport, or for any sport, really.
Mike, do we have a playoff format in the NBA?
It was kind of tricky. I just have it in the East. Circle back for the West.
That's
but in the East, if they followed the NHL format, it would be really bad news for the 76ers.
That's my line.
They would be flatly out of this tournament right now. It's a little different. You got the 3 divisions here. So it kind of replicates the old NBA where you're guaranteeing a division champion a top 3 seed. So Atlanta shifts from the 6 to the 3. But you basically have your 2 wild cards, essentially, Toronto and Charlotte. They're guaranteed. Where Orlando Orlando makes the playoffs here, guaranteed. They're a 6 seed outright. Where in the NBA, they might not make it at all.
That's because Orlando was second place in their division.
That's correct. So you take the top 2 teams from each division, and then you take the 2 best teams overall after that.
So what
and
would the
become your
matchups
wild
be
cards.
then?
So You go Boston would play Toronto in the first round.
Oh,
Detroit
all right.
would play Charlotte.
Okay.
Okay. Then you've got the 3 versus 6. You've got Atlanta versus Orlando in the first round.
Okay.
Yikes. And then you've got New York versus Cleveland, 4-5.
Yeah, it'd be drastically different if they did it that way.
West should be interesting.
You know what they should do? I'd like to volunteer this keen idea that the NHL should go back to what it used to do, which was they tried to make it more appealing by being more generic about, I don't know, 20 years or so ago, maybe 15 years or so ago, and they threw out one of the coolest specific details about the NHL versus all the other leagues, which was that the divisions and conferences were named after ancient luminaries.
Yeah, but it was hard to
rather
keep
than-
track. Like, if you ask me
No,
right
it
now.
wasn't. It was the greatest.
Was the Campbell the Eastern, the Western Conference? I don't remember. Like, I don't know.
Well, what difference does it make?
The
Why do you
Campbell,
have to
that's the
keep
one that
track
the
of that?
Canadiens won just a couple of years ago.
The West is the
West is Wales?
Campbell, essentially.
No, the East is
no,
Wales.
the
East is
Wales,
the
the
Wales. Prince of
Wales,
Wales.
the East is the Wales.
But Mike
And I
just said the
think, boy,
Canadiens won it a couple years ago.
Yeah, I understand
I'm
that.
sorry for your confusion. You'll
COVID.
get it straight, Zaz.
Are those
it'll
the
take you
Habs?
about,
Now who's
it'll take
confused?
you about 4 seconds to get straight in your brain, and it'll be great. We should rename, but instead of going back to the Patrick Division and the Norris Division and the Wales Conference and all that jazz, I think we should start anew. And I think we should, and each sport should do this, not just the NHL. The NFL should do this. Instead of playing in the AFC North, teams should play in the AFC Mean Joe. You know? Wouldn't that be cool?
You should come up with the names of the divisions before the end of the
Okay,
show
I will.
today, okay?
Okay, instead of the Patrick Division
Yeah.
or whatever, or Metro Division, instead now it's the Lemieux Division.
Okay.
Congratulations,
All right.
everybody.
That
Enjoy
was
yourself,
too easy
Flyers.
for you. Yesterday, the Miami
Crosby?
Heat had their exit interviews, all right, which means that the players, if they so chose, they would also speak with the media. So Bam Adebayo, we got to hear from for the first time. He obviously did not speak to the media on Tuesday night after he was taken out by LaMelo Ball with a very dirty play. Everybody knows that story at this point. Yesterday, 2 days ago, LaMelo Ball was retroactively assessed a flagrant foul penalty too. He should have been thrown out of the game, so I'm sure the Heat feel better now that the league corrected that. Yesterday, Bam spoke, and he was asked as well if LaMelo apologized, and that question is relevant because LaMelo just decided to offer up after the game the other night, I'm going to call Bam and apologize and make sure that he's okay.
I've always had great conversations with him. It's never been any, bad blood between us. As far as those incidents, I mean, like I said, I can't tell you what goes through his mind. My thing is, like I said, with the referees and the NBA, I feel like you should be able to review a hostile act no matter how long the possession has went by.
LaMelo said after the game that he was going to try to touch base with you and apologize. Did that conversation happen, and what did he kind of say to you?
It didn't happen. By that time, I was in the shower trying to figure out what I was going to do next. At some point, I'll see him again. We'll have that conversation, and we move on.
Does that bother anyone that LaMelo said? I mean, no one asked him, are you going to apologize? LaMelo offered up, I'm going to apologize. I'm going to check if he's okay. Does it bother anyone that he has now not done that?
I assumed he was lying.
Would we be okay if he said he had sent a text, a text check-in of he texted me? I feel like we'd still be like, oh, it's not a call.
No, I think that's fine. I mean, again, he's the one who said he was going to call him and apologize. No one said, do you think you should? He's offered it up. And, nothing. I mean, yeah, Dave?
I'd like, first of all, could we hear that back? Because that sounded like Mike Ryan asking that question. Did anybody else hear that?
Wow,
It sounded
okay.
like Mike.
I'd like to hear
really
that.
sounded
We'll play
a lot
here's the
like
question.
him.
Here's the question back.
Okay.
LaMelo said after the game that he was going to try to touch base with you and apologize. Did that conversation happen, and what did he kind of say to you?
We don't
No,
know.
Tony says no.
We
I
don't
don't know
sound
about
the
that one.
same, dog.
Maybe it's the whisper voice. Mike, let me hear your whisper voice.
Yeah.
Your press
You know,
conference question.
let's do
voice.
it like
LaMelo
you.
said he would take the opportunity to send you a text.
I
It's
feel
like me
it's,
doing a Shaq impression.
It's like Usual Suspect style, where he's giving them here, say this, and they all
Let me
have
hear
to.
it again.
They all have to
LaMelo
say.
said after the game that he was going to try to touch base with you and apologize. Did that conversation happen, and what did he kind of say to you?
That he does kind of have a Miami accent. Is that what you're doing? Be careful.
I don't know. Listen, I know this. In Usual Suspects and Seven, Kevin Spacey is the subject of a police sketch artist. Imagine that. Not one, two movies.
That's true.
Your visage is depicted by that. And by the way, the guy in Seven should be ashamed of himself because the police sketch artist, because his peer professionally is way better. He produces a way better image of Kevin Spacey than the guy in Seven. But to the matter at hand, yeah, bad form by LaMelo. But did you hear that the lady in the Coldplay video, in the Coldplay concert video, who got caught?
Has she
with her
resurfaced?
boss? Well, yeah, to say that she's a little upset that Chris Martin never reached out.
You're making
Literally,
that up.
No, look, Google it. It's a news story that I just saw not 20 minutes ago before we started here.
Get the hell out of here.
Never heard from Chris Martin. No, really? Wow, he never reached out after. Why would Chris Martin reach out?
Why would Chris Martin reach out?
I don't know, but I was tickled by it.
Yeah, that's
maybe LaMelo could reach out to her.
Yeah,
You
maybe
know?
he could deliver
That'd
a
be
message
nice.
for Chris Martin to that woman. Yeah, and they could do the same to Bam Adebayo. Maybe Chris Martin will reach out to Bam.
Nice. See,
Yeah.
there you go.
That would be a just world. Are we, as a result of LaMelo, who's like just a child, like totally immature player? You know, I mean, the very first game of any consequence that he's ever played in, because he never played college ball, so it's not like he was in a Final Four or anything. The Hornets have always been terrible. They've never actually made the playoffs, so that game Tuesday night was literally the first game of consequence he's ever played in, and this is the behavior. Like, I don't think you go in with him. He's a child. He's an immature player, all right? So I'm not surprised that what went down. But as a result of that, like, are we rooting against the Hornets tonight? Are we watching Hornets Magic tonight, and we want the Hornets to lose as a result of that?
No, absolutely not. We want the Hornets to win because it adds to my top 5 storylines that I have with an OLI.
Oh, okay.
On now that the playoffs are kind of almost set, we've
All
got
right.
storylines going into the first weekend.
right,
Charlotte
hold on
has
to
a
that.
big thing to play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it also makes our reworked divisional playoff type of thing really funny with Orlando eliminated but a top 6 seed in the reworked Eastern Conference. We've got the West.
All right, let me hear it.
All right, so Golden State is playing for a shot in the playoffs tonight. They wouldn't have a snowball's chance in hell. They're actually playing the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns would be a top 6 team under the NHL format. Again, slightly different. We have 3 divisions, so we're taking top 2. Number 1 overall seed does not change. That's OKC. They would be playing the number 8 overall seed Portland Trail Blazers, who are presently the number 7, correct?
So Blazers drop down a spot.
They drop down a spot. Number 2, San Antonio, plays number 7, Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Minnesota drops a spot.
Yeah, big benefactors here, not unlike the Atlanta Hawks in the East. The LA Lakers are the 3 seed here. They play the Phoenix Suns in a 3-6. LeBron actually potentially goes further in this format.
Much better matchup for LeBron and the Lakers.
And our 4-5 matchup is Denver versus Houston.
Yeah, it's significantly different. And I think the biggest difference is you don't have nonsense like a 37-win Warrior team that's got a chance.
By the way, I love Mike Ryan enduring through the Roomba.
good
Can we
exercise.
not run the Roomba during the show? How about that?
I'll
The
pass
cleaning
along your
crew?
note.
Should-
Maybe they'll listen to you.
What kind of Roomba do you have? The loudest Roomba
I don't know.
ever.
I just hear a vacuum cleaner or something in the background while construction goes on in the hotel over there.
Don't worry.
But doesn't
It'll
this
get
kind
worse.
of prove? Didn't Tony just prove the whole thing that we're talking about? That like the contempt breeded by familiarity and all of that. That's what we want LaMelo in there. Because he did something unpleasant, and now we want to see him once again.
I think you're right.
Now this is all feeding into it. Yeah, I like. I think that this is a better way to go. Whatever perpetuates rivalries. Yes.
Well, and also,
By the way, the other great thing would be, Zaz, I'm sorry. The other thing that we've talked about is, what if the higher seed got to pick its foe? That you really want to jazz up postseasons across major sports? Let the higher seeds start picking who they get to play in round 1.
okay, so you're one of those. Like I've heard that before. There are people out there who think, especially in the NBA, for teams that jockey for positioning. I want to face this team. I'm going to lose this game and play this team. Like, what's the benefit of being a top 4 team? Well, you get to choose your opponent. I've heard that before. You're one of those people then that want those top 4 teams to be able to choose because that's major bulletin board material.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, it goes without saying that the lower seed would be pissed off. Whoa. Of all the teams, you want us? All right, now you got us.
Do I have to choose? If I'm the 1 seed, do I have to choose 5 through 8, or what if I want the 4 seed?
Oh, that's nuts.
Ooh.
No, but then you're taking
even
away
better.
the right for the 4 seed to choose.
No, you get first choice. No,
Right. But top 4 gets to choose their opponent. So if you choose, like, I want to play the number 3 seed, you're taking their right away from them.
Right, because that team theoretically, right? Say it was like the Spurs and Wemby got hurt with 2 games left. Oklahoma City might want to play. I mean, they wouldn't, but they might want to play the Spurs.
Yeah, I think you have to
so
choose
you have to let
5
those
through 8.
4. You're right.
Yeah,
I
does
think
that make
that's the way
sense,
it has to
Dave?
go.
Am I making sense there?
It does. I mean, just imagine how saucy it would be. I mean, it already is, but like think about from the NFL side, because it gets too murky with the 7 teams and all of that. So it just would be the 1 seed. So you would punctuate wild card weekend. So Sunday night would be resolved. All hash would be settled from the wild card bouts. And then you end it with not a period, but an exclamation point. The 1 seed, whatever, Drake May and Mike Vrabel, who's in the news,
What do you do?
step to the podium to announce that we have chosen from the available teams, or I guess it would have been Sean Payton and Bo Nix last year, step to the podium and announce of the available teams, we want you. Oh, my goodness. It's already grand. The week is already, we don't even have to try to come up with things to talk about because the heat has already been delivered for us.
Well, and how angry would the fan base be of the team that gets selected first? Like, they'd be coming out with, like, pitchfork. You want to play us? It'd be amazing fodder that entire week leading up to. I think you're on to, Dave.
How about college football? How about we do it in college football too? That would really get those fan bases would really get pissed off.
I like it. Did you guys see this? Do you want to hear? Do you like hearing from Mario Chalmers?
What do you say?
Okay. Hey, good job. So this annoyed me, and I'll play it for you, and you can understand why it annoys me. So Mario Chalmers was on. Is it called Run It Back? That's with Chandler Parsons and
Michelle Beadle.
And Lou Williams, right? And they get good guests. And so Mario Chalmers is on the show. I mean, 2-time champion with Miami Heat. And here's Mario Chalmers talking about Heat culture and Pat Riley. Give this a listen.
Obviously, Bam is one of those stars, and he's expressed his frustration, with going to the play-in so many years in a row. Like, who does that fall? Is that Pat Riley not getting the right pieces? Is that Spo? Is that just the play? Is it health? Like, what is like the main reason why they kind of can't get over that hump? Is it the point guard situation? Like
South Beach. Like that's the thing to me. Like everybody used to want to come to South Beach, and now it's kind of like nobody really wants to come to South Beach. In my opinion, I think they're scared of the work. Not scared of the work, but they don't want to put in that type of work to be in the Miami Heat organization and, the Heat culture and everything that comes with it. I think Pat might have to let go of the reins a little bit and open up the reins and let people actually beat them and play.
So a couple things that annoy me about that. Number one, as far as nobody wants to come down to South Beach, but we continue to hear every year about the star players wanting to come and play for the Heat. Like, that hasn't stopped. Were you paying attention to Durant and Damian Lillard and potentially Giannis as well? We still hear it every single year. The second part, which really annoys me, is Pat Riley needs to let go of the reins. It has been such a long time since Pat Riley has anything to do with the actual team. It's Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra, it's insulting to continue to hear people talk about Pat Riley makes us do this and makes us do this, and this is what the practices are like. And he has nothing to do with the team. It's Eric Spoelstra's team. And it's weird to me that someone like Mario Chalmers, look, maybe Rio wants to sound like he's still super connected. I don't know. And of course, he's Mario Chalmers, and I'm me, okay? So take that for what it's worth. But I do know Pat Riley doesn't have anything to do with the actual team.
On court. Roster construction, yes.
But that's not what Rio's talking about.
But reigns related. He has no reigns.
He's talking about how hard the team has to work. Like, it's all Eric Spoelstra's territory.
So Spo has the reins. Pat does not have the reins.
When it comes to what the team does, 1,000%. Yeah,
I mean, he is in that clip talking about guys wanting to come to Miami. So that is a Pat Riley area. That he
is?
Just of like when free
like
agents
a recruitment
come,
standpoint.
Like, getting the roster constructed, that is still Riley.
Right, but like I said at the start, every year we hear about the stars that want to come to the Heat, right?
Yeah. But we're also guilty of perpetuating that because no stars actually come to the Heat.
Right. It's a lot of Photoshop season.
Yeah.
We see Luka in a Heat uniform. You're like, ooh, this is it.
But
in a Heat uniform.
If you believe the reports, though, to Zaz's point, Giannis has the Heat. Dame has the Heat.
They always have the Heat on their list. Always. Now, if you want to have a conversation about why the Heat have not been able to actually get these guys, that's a conversation. But, like, these guys they always still want to come and just, it's almost insulting to Eric Spoelstra, who has been the coach of this team for, 18 years at this point? I think that sounds right. You think Eric Spoelstra has to treat the team, though? Like, you think Pat Riley's in charge of what the team does? Because he's not. Like, not even a little bit.
Who is? Because I want to blame them.
Well, you could blame Pat Riley for roster construction. You could blame, the group of them for that.
I would like to blame the specter of Pat Riley because the unspoken thing is he's got a window that is shrinking, and we have to win as soon as possible because we want to get Pat one more, and that has been to the franchise's detriment. I don't actually know who's calling the shots. It seems it's a collective. We have heard Nick Arison has final say. It's an ambiguous setup, which means you're only left to point the finger at the cult of personality that's been the face of the franchise since he came over from New York.
Dave, I think you're an interesting person to ask this. This was brought up to me on ESPN yesterday, actually. I think it's kind of a relevant comparison, which is...
Who asked you? Carmelo Hayes?
Freddie.
Which is... Yeah, I was on with Freddie yesterday, of course.
The boy.
And the point was made...
What tag team is he in? Or
at least the comparison was made that the Miami Heat right now, kind of similar to the Pittsburgh Steelers position.
That's what makes that extra interesting to me is Mario Chalmers saying like people aren't willing to put in the work. That's pretty rare to hear, and it offsets what I say on Football America coming up right after this show Friday. Make sure you're checking it out wherever you find your podcasts or on YouTube. Is the whole notion of, I think the facile sort of narrative to roll with in Pittsburgh is that, and you're going to hear a ton of this in the coming days with the draft in Pittsburgh, is like the Pittsburgh Steelers and the citizenry are aligned because of their blue-collar work ethic. There's an ethos that is shared with the people and the football team. Like, what do people not work hard anywhere else? It's such a bizarre, just such a bizarre angle in the 21st century that, like, yes, the roots of the city are in steel and, yes, in those furnaces and everything else that our forefathers toiled in and everything else, but it's such a bizarre sort of angle. So, and then I'm surprised to hear Mario Chalmers kind of say the opposite of that. He's saying what I'm saying, like, come on, this is such a dumb thing to say, like, oh, in fact, the point I always make is, like, Pittsburghers love a good defense because it speaks to their blue-collar ethos. Like, would Dolphins fans not enjoy winning the Lombardi if it was carried by a great defense? Like, what's the math on that?
Or would the Pittsburghs, like, if they were greatest show on turf and they won the Super Bowl, this doesn't really represent us?
Well, I mean, exactly. The Pittsburgh Penguins for 35 years going on, like, is it because of their gritty work ethic that they've won all those Stanley Cups, or because they have the wheels and talent of Lemieux and Crosby and Yager and Ronnie Francis and Geno Malkin? I mean, it's such a weird, vapid point given the evidence available to all of us. And yes, to offset one more thing to tie it back to the puck is Mario Chalmers. No one wants to go to South. Isn't that the whole conversation around the NHL right now? Like, When are any of these Canadian teams ever going to win when Florida is an option for them now? All the Canadian farm boys want to live in South Beach or Tampa or otherwise. That's the rolling conversation in hockey right now. And so kind of disagrees with what Chalmers just said.
I'm done with this Yinzer propaganda from this guy.
Ooh, I have my top 5.
Oh, okay. This is top 5 slurs?
Yeah, sure.
That would be wild.
These are a top 5 words to describe people that are like neutral or positive that sound like you're saying a slur.
Okay, a lot different from what I just suggested.
So OLI.
I thought it was top 5 slurs.
Take a look at that Okie. Hey, look at that bloke.
Yeah, I like that. I'd like to be able to use bloke, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right coming out of my mouth.
Look at that Buckeye over there. Right. Number 5. Take a look at that Yankee.
It is a slur in some places.
Yeah, they do use that.
Number 4. You see that Cockney over there? Number 3. Look at that Mogger.
Is that Caligula?
Yeah.
Oh, with the ER
Caligula. Number 2. Hey, look, a Yinzer. And number 1. Hey, whoa, you see that Jew?
What?
I know, my heart sank a little
Whoa,
bit.
scared me. I didn't know where we were
The
going.
hell?
All right. That's
Hey, look, it's a
quite
Jew.
list. Quite a list. So
You guys all feel uncomfortable, huh?
Yeah, I don't really know.
He can do that.
You know, Jew is just a word to describe a Jewish person because they're a Jew.
Charles Barkley spelled it on the show.
That's what I'm saying. See, this is my point. It sounds like a slur to people, but it's not. It's just a word to describe Jews because they're Jews. You don't like the hard J, do you?
Really uncomfortable right now. A new episode of South Beach Sessions came out yesterday. I think that the Dolphin fan is going to like it. Jeff Hafley is the new head coach of the Miami Dolphins. And new episode, he sat down with Dan. It came out yesterday, and I think you guys are going to like it.
Without giving you the specifics of a hypothetical coaching crisis that you need some guidance on, where's the first call going? Without making it specific to any, one scenario that someone would be more qualified to handle. You've just got a football crisis. First person that you trust enough to be like, and you just don't recognize it. Something happened with a player, and it's different from anything else. Who's the call you're making?
It depends situationally. There could be a couple football guys. Dave Wannstedt would be one of them. He's a guy that I lean on heavily, talk to weekly, has been through it, was a head coach, really one of my biggest mentors. He is the first one that jumps into my mind, so he'd probably be my first
It's
call.
funny that you say that, though, because his experience with the Dolphins following the people he followed, it hasn't been that good since then. I don't know. Do you know the history, the entire history of the last 25 years down here since Wannstedt?
Yeah, he's told me about it a little bit, so I know it, but hopefully we'll make believers out of even you at some point.
What are you smiling about?
I don't know. I just felt like smiling at you.
No, that you were smiling. I was rough on Wannstedt when he was down here. I called him Wanstache because
a lot of people. Did you start the Wanstache?
Well, we actually had Wani McStashes. We started a restaurant where we gave out chicken fingers that were shaped like mustaches.
Did you get to know him?
I love Dave. I know
guy?
Dave at the University of Miami when he was. I went to school when Dave was the defensive
Isn't he one of the
coordinator.
best guys ever?
He's a fundamentally decent, kind human being.
He is a great person.
And he got ravaged down here for following Don Shula and
Hard
Jimmy Johnson while going 11-5, 10-6, 10-6, and then the wheels came off.
You're right. I mean, but that would be my first call.
And so it's been 25 years since then, and you know the history of what it is that you're walking into from that perspective, from Wannstedt telling you what it was like to follow Jimmy Johnson?
We haven't talked about that in as much detail. I've heard a lot about the past 25 years. Is there anything else you'd like to fill me in on? Did I just open up a bad...
Well, no, because Dave Wannstedt is the last time that this football team was nationally relevant, and he fell under the expectations of you come after Don Shula and Jimmy Johnson. I think was he coach of the year? I think he was. He was coach of the year in Chicago. I don't think he was coach of the year here.
He might have been.
But over the last 25 years, they've squandered down here. I grew up near the stadium, and you're sitting in front of a heartbroken Dolphin fan who can't believe the team hasn't won a playoff game in 25 years in a league that legislates equality by making the bad teams better with the rules. Like 25 years, that's a lot of coaches.
I know. We're going to do everything we can to make you happy.
You're still smiling at me. What are you smiling about? How about, can I speak for you?
You want me to frown?
No, can I speak for you? No, I think you're going to say, we'll show you. We'll show you.
Yeah, that guy who slept under his desk is going to come out and do everything I can to make you a happy guy.
What I see beneath the smile is
what?
We're going to show you. Just watch, but you believe in yourself. You wouldn't have taken this job if you thought you were going to fail at it.
Correct. I took this job because I believe in a lot of things about it that I'm excited about. You know, the interview process was long. It wasn't just me going on all these interviews. It was me doing a lot of the interviewing. This wasn't like, this is your only interview, this is your only opportunity, I'm just going to take the job. That wasn't it at all. I mean, I chose out of the 6 that wanted to fly me in to meet with me, I chose this one to go first for a reason, because usually the first one is going to be the one you're most interested in, because if it works, you're not going to leave the building and say, oh, no, I'm just going to go look around. So there's a lot of reasons I took this. I believed in ownership when I talked to them. I believed in Sully, and I wanted to pair up with somebody that I was aligned with. That was really important to me, because you mentioned when I was in some situations that weren't great in this league, and I saw it all firsthand, and I watched it very closely. I'm very observant. And then when I got to San Francisco and I saw Kyle and John Lynch and how connected they were, which was way different than anywhere that I've ever been, and I saw it building, and I saw the alignment, I saw how they work together, I said to myself, if I ever have a chance to get one of these jobs, that's how I want it to be like. And that's what I saw with John Eric. And that's what John Eric and I talked about for the past 2 years. So if it were to work out where we both get a chance to start together, I just think that's a very rare opportunity. And I don't think that exists a lot in this league.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
All right, as everybody knows, we every day we have Roy's video of the day. Roy, can you let us know what we got today, please?
Hey, you know more than I do.
Okay. Excellent job, Roy, previewing your video of the day. Can we put Roy's video of the day up on the screen? Our visual audience, the YouTube audience, DraftKings Network, you have the pleasure of being able to see Roy's video of the day. He does, as you heard, a tremendous job, a lot of research picking out his video of the day. Roy, do you want to explain your video of the day to us here as we now all see it together?
It seems as if these people are doing a hammer throw with large tuna.
Shot put vibes. Olympic shot put vibes. But like
shot put is the one with the ball in the
That's
neck.
more discus than shot put.
Yeah, Roy, I think you're describing an Australian fish toss, I think is the video you chose.
He knows that. He's playing
That
boy.
sounds like a slur.
Yeah, he's very humble, Roy. All right, so he doesn't want to take all the credit for the tremendous video.
All
of the day.
women, by the way.
Yeah.
Notice that? All women.
Well, they're good at that over there. Everybody knows that. So that's
Oh, there's a
Roy's
guy.
Look
video
at that, bro. There you go.
of
That's
the day.
Zaz right there. Look at that.
There you have it. So, Dave, I don't know if you saw this, but yesterday, over the
Men and
weekend.
women's sports.
Yes.
I don't like it.
Well, that brings us to this story, okay? Very appropriate. So, over the weekend, you had the WNBA draft. And the number 1 overall pick, not surprisingly, was UConn's Azzi Fudd. She was selected by the Dallas Wings, all right? And it's relevant for a couple reasons. Number one, Azzi Fudd's a really good player and totally deserving of being the number 1 overall pick. Was it a no-brainer number 1 overall pick? Probably not, but totally deserving to be the number 1 overall pick. And apparently also, it's not a secret, her girlfriend is last year's number 1 overall pick by the Dallas Wings, also from UConn, her former teammate, Paige Beckers, who is certainly one of the best players in the league. And there hasn't been a whole lot as far as covering that angle of the selection. Well, yesterday, AZ Fudd was introduced to the Dallas media for the first time alongside the, I assume, the general manager and the head coach of the team. She was flanked on each side by 2 gentlemen. And give this a listen here. This is a reporter who somebody finally decides to ask a question about her relationship with Paige Beckers. Give it a listen.
Easy, Kevin Sherrington, the Dallas Morning News. Paige announced last year on TikTok that y'all were a couple, and I'm wondering if it's still the case, and if so, if y'all have talked to any other couples in the league about how they negotiate that dynamic as pro teammates.
I understand why you have to ask that question, but we're going to respectfully decline from commenting on our players' personal lives. Go to the next question.
Okay, so that was the PR person who is off camera who jumps in. That is not AZ Fudd. That is the PR person who jumps in off camera and says, we are not going to answer those questions. So, I mean, first of all, we are not going to answer those questions. Okay, like the Dallas Wings don't have to answer the question, but like, does AZ want to answer any question? They're like, we are not going to answer the question. So are they telling their players that we're not going to talk about personal relationships? Sure. So that part's a little strange. But I guess I would also like to throw it out. Does anyone have a problem with the line of questioning?
I don't have a problem with a line of questioning because there's a draft pick here at stake, and that's something that fans of that franchise are curious in. It is a franchise decision, as you noted. Terrific player, but not a consensus overall number 1 pick, right? Nope. There was some debate about this. And look, it's not like players have dated one another in that league in particular. It is commonplace across the pond.
It is.
But in other women's sports that are big professionally, they don't necessarily have the same kind of draft system that the United States has over here with the WNBA. So when you're making a decision and you're evaluating talent, and this is something that is certainly worth talking about, I think, and a question that is worth being asked. Now, most organizations have a default position, like we don't have to talk about our personal lives. I get that, but I do think that there's something a little bit more to it.
Yeah, especially when we're, like you mentioned, I mean, take for instance, the number 4 overall pick in the draft was Lauren Betts, who just won a national championship with UCLA, and she's 6'7", which is a monster in the WNBA. Like, certainly a player who could have been worthy of the number 1 overall pick, and it's starting to gain steam now because there are other journalists out there, especially because the question was shot down yesterday that we're not going to talk about it. Like, I do think it's a fair thing to ask. He certainly didn't ask it in a confrontational tone. Like, really, the question wasn't even, Chris, were you selected because you're Paige Becker's girlfriend? No, it was more along the lines of, have you talked to anyone about how to negotiate, how to handle being in a relationship and being on the same team? That's a completely legitimate question, no?
I think the PR person made this a bigger story. Like, if she just answers the question, I feel like we're not even playing the sound today. So it's interesting, the PR person trying to help. This is more of a news story because it's like, oh no, we're not talking about that.
And from a basketball perspective, you think of, all right, is this the right fit X's and O's wise? Could they have maybe gone another position that they had in need? Did Paige Beckers, who's the face of the franchise, be like, hey, obviously every face of the franchise in every sport.
Tony, specifically, that team apparently, because I know what's going on in the league, like from a periphery, I don't want to try and make it sound like I really know what's going on in the league, but like I am aware of what's going on in that league. And that team, Dallas, loaded at guard. Loaded.
So they got another guard.
Yes. So doesn't it make it kind of a fair question if someone were to say, does this play any kind of... And again, I just gave the example of Lauren Betts, who's 6'7". They could have used her, but they went for the second year in a row and drafted a point guard, number 1.
I think their view was just best player available, but I also, I think I really agree with Chris here, which is it became a bigger story because the PR person intervened, and maybe it was a conversation on the front end with AZ of like, hey, are you comfortable answering this question when it comes up? Because everyone knows it's going to come up. It's why the PR person said, I understand why you have to ask that question, but we're going to decline from here. Maybe it was a conversation on the front end, or maybe it was the PR person getting out ahead to try to keep it focused on basketball for this specific press conference, whatever. They've answered questions before, but I think all that does is make it a bigger story. And if you would have just let her answer the question, which was a like you said, the way you could tell that the reporter.
That question was dainty, Jeremy. It was a dainty
He was
question.
really trying to just ask it in what was the proper and respectful way, right? Like, any questions that have existed across the street about Bam Adebayo and Asia Wilson didn't pop up until they went public with their relationship. This relationship has been public for about a year. And when those questions started getting asked, it wasn't, hey, what are your kids going to be like athletically, the way some things have happened and rolled out on social media. It's always been like, how do you support one another, all of those things. And this reporter came in with a question that was...
It's not an uncommon thing in women's professional sports, and this is where PR probably overthought this one. Mm-hmm. You said it right off the top. You could have just maintained the line, we drafted the best available player. We believe this to be the best available player. That could be a uniform line, and one that is a subjective thing that you can hold on to with conviction, actually. To shoot it down is why we're talking about it.
I find... go ahead, Dave.
Well, I just think it's weird that the standard is that you have to ask the question, you have to phrase it in a dainty manner or otherwise, and even if you do that, it's somehow taboo. Somehow there is a weird implied stink on the reporter perpetuated by the PR person, right? For even having the temerity to ask such a question, because the reason it's interesting, Zaz, is because you know that they had the Wings decision makers had to have had that conversation before they made the pick. Like, are we doing this because they're in a relationship, and so how will that impact things? So then to brush it off like, I understand you have to ask that, but we're not going to address something so untoward. This is their personal lives. Did you guys discuss that before you made her your first overall pick?
Yeah, it's like that league is interesting to me sometimes. Or, that league is strange to me sometimes also, I suppose I could say, because they and this has really been the case over the last couple of years when they've started to really grow, and get the attention that they deserve. They want to be treated like all the other big leagues. And a lot of times, like this, for instance, I believe, when they are treated like the other big leagues, they don't like it. Like, it's not that they want to be treated like the other big leagues. They want to be treated, they want to be covered the way they want to be covered.
Well, this is one place where inequality might work out for them, because we've never run into the situation where Max Crosby's dating Fernando Mendoza.
Heated rivalry.
Like I saw yesterday, our friend Trista, she has a platform. I think it's called the Daily W. All right, Trista's really great at covering the women's sports, okay? And they were talking about this because this was a big thing yesterday, that them denying the answer in the question and what have you. And I saw like people commenting, and one of them was, I wonder if a man would have been asked this question. And I'm like, huh? If this was in the male league, it would be one of the biggest stories ever.
Yes.
Ever.
The biggest.
Yes. Yeah.
Ever.
Don't get that perspective.
Right? So that league can be strange to me sometimes. I think it's a completely fair question.
You don't get to, like, this is happening more and more. It is the Daniel Day-Lewis thing. Like, I'm a thespian, and I want to make films, and I want to the craft of acting and all of that. This thing of having to promote my films is ugly stuff, and I don't want to be a part. Too bad, man. Yeah, this is part of it. This is part of it. You can't separate yourself out from it. Sorry, I shan't promote the films that were devoted, that hundreds of millions of dollars were devoted to making. I'm not going to put myself out there to promote. Sorry, man. This is part of the deal here.
You know about that, my left foot?
Both feet.
So I was also fired up yesterday big NBA news. Tony, I know you got a top 5. We're getting to it. All right, we're getting close. All right, calm down. And we have a couple of playing games tonight. We have do or die playing games tonight. The winners do, the losers die. That's tonight. We got 2 of them. But the big NBA news yesterday was the league ruled in favor an extraordinary circumstances clause for Luka Doncic, who fell 1 game short of the 65-game minimum rule for NBA awards, and Cade Cunningham was also granted an exception as he fell short, suffering an injury late in the season, a collapsed lung, actually. On top of that, Anthony Edwards was denied his claim. But Doncic and Cunningham are eligible for all postseason awards despite not reaching the minimum of 65 games. I was outraged when I saw this. I really was. And obviously, I've been on a kick with Adam Silver over the last few years because he's done nothing. He's afraid to do anything that might upset anybody. And in this case, it was upsetting the players because, who cares that this is something that was collectively bargained by the league and the players, this 65-game rule. But Adam Silver, if players can potentially get upset, like in this case for not qualifying for the 65 games, he's going to side with the play. Like, you know what? You know who Adam Silver reminds me of? It's like in The Godfather. It's like in The Godfather. He certainly doesn't remind me of The Godfather. Let's put that out there first. But it's like in The Godfather Part 2 when Michael tells Tom Hagen, "You're not a wartime consigliere."
You're not. He wasn't.
So, Tom, you're going to step aside. My father is going to be my consigliere now. Tom Hagen was a peacetime consigliere. That's Adam Silver. Adam Silver is Bobo Tom Hagen. He's a peacetime consigliere. He can't handle any type of controversy, any type of debate with the players, any type of
war between the families.
That's right. He's a peacetime commissioner, Adam Silver. Anything that has to do with controversial or back and forth with the players, he folds, man. He folds. I don't understand this. Luka Doncic falls 1 game short, and they grant the exception because he went to Slovenia, missed 2 games because of the birth of his child. Luka Doncic didn't not qualify for the 65 games because his child was born. He didn't qualify because he missed 18 games this year. Like, the rule is in place so that early in the season, you don't take off games because what if life interjects itself and you have to miss a couple of games because of the birth of your child? By the way, maybe Luka Doncic shouldn't have been suspended a game for picking up 16 technical fouls. And
but don't worry about that, Zach.
They rescinded one of those. And then he picked up another one and got suspended. But no. The 2 games that you missed because of the birth of your child, we're going to grant you an exception. And then there's Cade Cunningham. Why is Cade Cunningham's injury any more important than anyone else's injury in the NBA? Like, what if Cade Cunningham suffered the collapsed lung instead of in the end of March? What if it was in December? Do you get an exception then? I mean, that's what caused him to miss the games. I'll tell you what. LeBron James. LeBron should get an extraordinary circumstance exception. He's 41 years old. Like, the reason he sat out games was because he's 41 and playing 82 games is really hard. Why doesn't LeBron get an extraordinary circumstance exception? He would have played if he wasn't 41, but he is 41. He's the only one in the league who's 41. Isn't that an extraordinary circumstance? Why isn't he eligible for postseason awards, Tony?
What postseason award was he going to get?
I don't know. That's not for me to decide. I'm not.
I know, but that's the point. Like, he didn't do it because he's not really in the running for anything. For Cade, he's in the running for first team All NBA, which he should make. Luka, the same thing. He should have been MVP also in the mix. But the Cade thing is interesting because it's an NBA basketball injury. Like, is it a freak injury? Yeah.
Is it just because it sounds like it's just the collapsed lung of it? Just like if it was named differently, I feel 100%. Like it would be.
I mean, he only missed a couple of weeks. Like I think Tyrese Halliburton should be eligible. He tore his ACL.
Shingles.
That's an extraordinary circumstance. Tyrese Halliburton should be eligible for NBA awards this year.
He should be MVP, right? Because they were the worst team?
Yeah, he should be eligible.
He should be the MVP.
That's right.
Oh, look, everybody agrees with Zaz in there. Listen, you're going to have to park out on the curb because you are not welcome in my garage with this one, Zaz. This is. Do you remember well, you don't remember it. You're too young. But remember
don't tell me what I
George
remember.
Brett?
I'll answer for myself.
Okay, the Pine Tar, the George Brett.
Of course,
Billy
I
Martin,
remember
the
that
whole thing. The AL commissioner, which is funny that you used to have National League and American League commissioners, not league commissioners, but either way, the American League commissioner at the time said, that's not the Pine Tar, maybe it exceeded where it was supposed to, but that's not really the spirit of the rule. That's what's going on here. I agree with you largely with your take on Adam Silver, but with this case, this is sort of addressing the reality of things. This isn't the spirit of the rule. Cade Cunningham had a collapsed lung. He wasn't load managing, and neither was Luka Doncic going off with the birth of a child. This is reacting to human beings. I think this is a just decision.
Dave,
as a matter of
I
fact.
will tell you, I like the idea in pro sports instead of it essentially being a blanket rule.
Right.
I like being able to judge things on an individual basis and using common sense. But what's the tipping point then for injuries that you're allowed to miss games? So they clearly just
because the answer is like you say, it's not that he's taking a load off. He has a collapsed lung.
No, I understand. So if a player, let's say next season, a player plays only 60 games, all of the other 22 games he missed because he separated his shoulder. Is he eligible for awards?
This is a tougher question to answer in the vacuum of what was his stat line. If you only play 60 games, you better average 34 a game, right?
Okay.
I mean, you're really going to have to be spectacular to offset the 25% of the season that you missed. I think the human beings voting will acknowledge that.
Does death in the family? You miss a few games because of death in the family. I'm being serious.
I think they would give you the exception there. Like
if birth counts, death counts.
I hope so.
How many shows off would there be if Zaz passed away?
like the show goes dark?
Yeah. One day, like we can't do it.
I'd take a week.
A week? No
a whole
way.
week.
A week?
No.
So like how many days? Like I'm in the afterlife, and
yeah,
I don't want to be offended at how little the show mourns me. How many days does the show have to be dark?
Yeah, like I just want to go on record again. People always do this thing to make it okay for themselves to move forward. They're like, he would want us to play these games.
I wouldn't.
He would want us to go out there. I don't want that.
Neither do I.
I want at least a week of national
Your ass
mourning.
better be sad.
Right. And then like I want an entire year of sorrow for people closer to me. You know?
Zaz,
Thank
if you
in
pass away,
advance.
what would you want me to do? Do you want me to eat a certain thing? Do you want us to enjoy a certain thing that
Yeah, I
you
want to
enjoy?
eat a bagel and lox. That's what I want.
Bagel and lox, watching wrestling?
Yeah. that's
Jew.
right.
No TV allowed in the Zaz home after he passes.
Tony got a top 5 for us today.
Got a top 5. Now that we have the playoffs kind of set, we're still missing a couple of teams. Once we have that,
We're trying to figure out who's going to play the 8th seed.
once the 8 seeds are locked in, we'll have the entire thing set up. But I've got a top 5 storylines and interesting things to watch for of the teams that are already locked in.
Okay, sounds good.
Hopefully you do better than last time. Your last top 5 was a little rough.
It was completely fine if you knew ball. You don't know ball. Starting the OLI, please let us get Charlotte and Detroit in the 1-8 matchup. The reason why, because if you remember earlier this season, Beef Stew took to the Hornets.
Yep.
They had a big scuffle. All of a sudden, now we're going to get LaMelo Ball fresh off of this whole situation. Is he going to try something with Detroit? Is Beef Stew going to come in and give him an elbow?
Maybe Duncan Robinson will have Bam's back.
He'll walk away from 96 feet back and merge back into the crowd.
I do think that's a fun story.
It's a fun storyline when you look at everything that's happening with LaMelo right now, plus what happened with them earlier in the season. If something goes off, we might have a little bit more
Orlando's just not
tensions.
interesting. Charlotte's interesting.
Mosley's getting fired. You had it in Penn. He's getting fired Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't play this game tonight, he'd have been fired on Wednesday. Instead, he's going to be fired tomorrow. Yeah.
Number 5, we're looking at the Raptors' wing and speed versus the Cavs' slow pace. Raptors play at some of the fastest pace in the league. They got a bunch of wings, a bunch of athletic guys. The Cavs play at a super slow pace with James Harden. That's going to be an interesting back and forth. The Raptors want to get in transition and push the pace. Are the Cavs going to want to play half court, which they're great in with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden? Interesting little combo there.
Must admit, I did not have this NBA TV series cracking your top 5.
I feel like your explanation is exactly how NBA TV is going to preview it.
It's the 1 o'clock game.
See ya, 1 o'clock. The Tuesday 6:30 p.m. tip.
Yeah. Is it NBA TV or where are they on? Let's see.
I'm not sure NBA TV has the playoff games anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
I think it's all like Prime.
They should make an exception.
Let's see.
The peacetime president needs
You know
to
what?
come
Our
in.
contract ran out with NBA TV for the playoffs last year, but we're an extraordinary circumstance here.
It's Raptors Cavs.
It's
We have to
Raptors
put it
Cavs.
on.
We must mobilize.
It's going to be on Prime Video, by the way, 1 o'clock tomorrow. Number 4, Knicks bigs versus the Atlanta Hawks lack of size. Cat, Mitchell Robinson, 2 big boys. Mitchell Robinson grabs every board that's on the iron. That the Hawks, Okongwu, not a big guy, 6'8". There's a lot of great wings for the Atlanta Hawks, not a lot of great bigs. So can New York take advantage of the lack of size at Atlanta?
Oh, it was payday, so your boy started placing a bunch of series bets. And one of my favorite bets was this series going over 5.5 games.
Yeah, I like that. What was the price on that?
You lay the minus 150, so you
Okay.
tie up some dough for a little bit, but I like it.
All right, I like that.
Number 3, can the Blazers give San Antonio any problems? Danny Avdia, budding superstar.
Do you want the answer to that question?
He's not budding anymore. Bonafide.
Wow, bonafide.
Top Jew.
Bonafide
top Jew.
superstar?
Mike had this take a couple of days ago, and I didn't want.
Giving Denny Avdia bona fide superstar.
Yeah, and he went for 2 first-round draft picks. The forward-thinking Portland Trailblazers that ended up winning the whole Damian Lillard thing.
Well, I don't agree with that. But
Well, they did because they traded him, got a bunch of stuff, and then got him back, and then they're paying him more money, and then he gave him a 3
that is
for
true.
42.
I forgot for a moment that next year they have Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool.
That's fun.
Just a lot of bigs, a lot of good defenders there in Portland. They got a great defense. I'm going to be interested to see if Denny Avdia can do anything against San Antonio, if they're going to give Wemby any sort of issues. Number 2.
By the way, Portland, a shining example to everybody who holds up a rebuilding process takes 5 years. They turned that thing around pretty quick to the point that Lillard's on the roster.
They're a play-in team also.
And
just
and
for
their
what it's
coaches
worth.
in
and they
Rico
won't get out of the
charge.
play-in for another 3 or 4 years.
I don't know about that. Like they I'd rather be them right now. I'd rather have a bona fide superstar like Denny Avdia.
Remember, their coach got taken by a RICO charge midway through the season.
That's true.
Tiago Splitter.
Tiago Splitter and them
How about
boys did a
that?
great job.
That's true.
First thing you think of when I say Tiago Splitter, what is it?
LeBron blocking
Yeah, the
him
block.
at the rim.
Absolutely.
And then Stephen A.
Number 2, LeBron versus KD, nostalgic viewing, maybe for the last time. It's going to be cool to see 2 legends of the game, 2 easily top 15 players, 20 top 20 players of all time.
Easy 15. I'm going 15. Easy.
KD top 15.
Yes.
I can be talked into KD top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Just so that people don't continue, like, I get accused of hating LeBron. I want LeBron to win this series. Like, I want the Lakers to win the series.
Yeah, but then you'd be wrong though on what you predicted.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I said that the Lakers are not going to win a game, and I think it's totally possible they don't win a game. But I think it's so much more interesting if LeBron gets past the Rockets here. If LeBron, at 41 years old, plays well, there's a lot of time off in between games. I'm rooting for LeBron. The Lakers.
Luka's back in the States too, so we don't know what his situation is with his hamstring. We don't know what Austin Reeves' situation is. Maybe they come back game 2, 3, 4, somewhere around there.
All right.
And number 1, can the Wolves stop Nikola Jokic in the greatest season maybe we've ever seen before he even gets started in the playoffs? We knew the situation. The Wolves and the Nuggets, for the last, I think, 28 games they've played, they're both tied at 14 wins. So they're exactly 500 against each other, and they wanted to lose to be able to get to a different seed, and now they're facing the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have some sort of juice against Nikola Jokic, and I'm very interested to see what's going to happen because I think Denver can be a dark horse and win throughout the Western Conference and win the NBA Finals, but it could get stopped against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
They meet in the playoffs for the 3rd time in the last 4 years. This is it's the rubber match, and yeah, I think this series has a chance to be really great. All right, good job, Tony. That's an excellent top 5.
Thank you.
So, Jeremy, Dave. Yes, I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm just curious where you guys come down since you were in close proximity to LeBron before he arrived in Los Angeles. What's your collective stance on the rumors that this might be it for LeBron? It's there's a report out there that he does not want a farewell tour, and he might just go away after this series should they lose that. Is this his passive aggressive way of getting the attention that farewell tour would kind of deliver? I'm trying to figure out what it means, how that report is out there right now.
Dave, my wife also said she doesn't want anything for Valentine's Day or for Christmas or for Mother's Day or for her birthday, but I have to get them. So yeah.
All right.
The other thing is quickly, Zaz, is with Jokic. I appreciate what Dan said earlier in the week. I do think it's hard to really categorize Jokic against the other centers, let alone offensive players that we've ever seen. And I think it really boils down to he looks like Greg Ostertag. Jokic does. And is he, in the 21st century with hyper fitness and all of that, he really is a throwback to Babe Ruth, and Wayne Gretzky even. Wayne Gretzky looks like an 11-year-old girl at the height of his powers, and Babe Ruth is a slob at the height of his powers. Jokic is kind of a throwback to that, and I think that's why we have a hard time making sense of him in the year of our Lord 2026.
Well,
continue.
My first response would be I don't believe him for a second because this is on brand because he lies all the time, LeBron. And so the idea that he doesn't want – I don't think there's been a player ever who would want a farewell tour more than LeBron James. Matter of fact, I think he's going to do a farewell couple of years. I think he's going to announce 2 years in advance so that we know, all right, he's got 164 games remaining in his career. Let's make sure we celebrate all of them. LeBron not do a farewell tour? Nobody believes that, right? Are you kidding?
Well, I guess we'll know in 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right. Jeremy has a bunch of things.
No, you won't, because he's going to draw it out and take the time to consult with his family.
Hasn't thought about it yet. Hasn't talked to his
day
wife
before
yet.
free agency.
Yep. Yeah. Not a single.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Not one dinner. Not a single dinner, Dave.
We'll get some programming out of it in July. Don't you worry.
He has not been sitting down with his wife, with his family, one dinner where one of them said, "What are you thinking next year?" Has not come up.
Well, if the Wings PR, if the Dallas Wings PR person were handling this, we understand the question, but that's an untoward direction to take things. We're not going to answer that one, right? I mean, that would be the response.
So Jeremy has a few things that he we all have things we want to talk about every day here, okay? And there's a lot of us, but we have a lot of room. We make room for everybody to talk about the things they want to talk about. And Jeremy has a bunch of things, or at least a few things that he wants to talk about today. I saw what he wants to talk about. I don't want to hear about any of them.
Yeah, that's my experience here. Yeah. My experience is walking in oh, man, did you guys see this? I'm so excited about that. And, things in pop culture most of the time.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about
none of you
any
care
of these
about.
things that he's
Can
interested
I
in.
give you, a few? Because I have more.
No,
but
we
can
can't
I
have
give
a
you
few.
And
we
then,
have one.
Okay, but let me throw a few out there, and you could pick the one you want to talk about.
Okay,
Is that fair?
all right. So give us 3 of the things that you want to talk about, and we can commiserate and give you one of them.
Okay. So exciting. Earlier this week, cast list announced for the new movie musical Octet, directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it is a banger
I'm
of a
already
cast
leaning
list.
heavy on
Amanda Seyfried, Rachel Zegler, Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things.
All right, that's one.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
leaning
Jonathan
heavy to
Groff.
no.
There's legends in this list. It's
Okay,
unbelievable.
Next.
Okay. New Olivia Rodrigo single out today. Olivia Rodrigo, she's back. Best pop star we have. Huh? Great songwriter.
I got to tell you, we don't care.
Yeah,
she's great.
That's going to be a no for me,
Future
dog.
Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Olivia Rodrigo. That's my prediction. We'll check that back in about 20 years.
Now the dating partner, at least, of the Geese front.
That's right.
Geese is in the news
Look at this
because
guy.
they are now regarded as a psyop.
Look at Dave.
I hope this third one is
I don't know
better.
anything that's been said in the last 30 seconds.
How about this?
You know about psyops.
The geese frontman?
Geese.
What is that?
Oh, Geese is good.
The only Gee I know is Guy Santos.
Psyop.
They're good.
You can stay with me, honey. You can stay with me.
You keep going. I don't know.
Tony, it's a white people thing. There's geese and goose at the same time.
Gossage. But geese is better than goose. Okay, and this one maybe you'll go with. Fokker-in-Law looks kind of good. And Ariana
is that
Grande.
a new Fockers movie?
Yeah,
Meet
new
the
Fockers movie.
Write that down. Sounds like a slur.
It does.
Okay,
but Ariana Grande it looks like
Out on
she's
her.
going. She's
Out on
going to crush this.
Okay, so those are the three. Like I told you, the first one I
First two are
rejected
miserable.
immediately. All right, we are going to commiserate. We will let you give us something on one of these.
Okay, so I'll go. Well, is it?
We're gonna
is it-
meet.
No, we got to talk.
We
gotta talk.
will let you know.
Coming up today on the Alley Oop, there is a APB out for Paolo Banchero. If you have seen him, please let the Orlando Magic know. Also, LaMelo Ball, $35,000 for taking out the other team's best player. Should you pay that?
Should you pay that, Juju? Also, I've been trying to tell you guys about Denny Abdia. The Blazers are in the playoffs, so I don't even care if we lose our first-round pick to Chicago at all. Top 10 in the NBA. Hell yeah, only making $11 million a year. I don't even remember what my other topic was. Oh, yeah, Steph is still inevitable. Lock in.
Damn. Lock in.
Coming up on Mystery Crate this week, commenters call me skinny.
You felt really good about
I
that.
did. I felt
You
great
led
about
the
it.
show with that.
I led the show with it. Well, I don't want to get into it here, but people made me feel good when I posted a picture, and now I've been eating like shit all week.
Yeah, you got into it.
We figure out why Chris Cody continues to hold on to hotel keys that he's already checked out of. We talk about Zaz's old ass story. We talk about
Chris's new ass story.
Yeah,
Chris's
don't forget
new
about that
ass
new ass
story. I explained to you why I don't like raw onions, and I'm very adamant about the fact. Plus,
the return of unpopular opinions.
The return of Mike's unpopular opinions that Mike gives for us to make sure that he gets all of his takes off on Mystery Crate. Plus, Zaz has microplastics in his balls.
And we may have lost Rose.
All right. The first one is definitely out. Like, Jeremy,
You don't want to talk about Octet?
Not even close. Like, that got no traction. We turned down topic number 2 as well.
Olivia Rodrigo.
We're out on that.
Goat.
We are going to give you some runway here on the new Fockers movie. Go ahead, Jeremy.
All right. So I didn't want to like this. I didn't think it was going to be good. But the first preview.
Why wouldn't you want it to be?
Because I just didn't. They've deteriorated throughout, right?
I don't think I saw. Was the last
Little
one?
Fockers?
I don't think I watched that.
Terrible. Like, not good. Not entertaining. Not
No one else
funny.
watched it either.
But now they've come back with Focker-in-Law. Interesting premise, which is Ben Stiller in it with his daughter-in-law. So they're the ones that don't like each other. You normally see, like, son-in-law, father-in-law dynamics. Interesting.
So
Put
Ben
that on its
Stiller
head.
now has a kid who's married.
Who's marrying Ariana Grande.
Okay. Why are you looking at me like that, Roy?
This is going to lead to a movie called Grand Focker, isn't it?
Oh, I love that. Or Mother Focker. But ultimately, the thing that really blew my mind here is, like, Ariana Grande
Greenlight that.
is such a chameleon. She just sinks into whatever it is that she's doing. The way she speaks is different. The way that she looks is different. And then I had a realization. As someone who can do comedy, can do dramas, can do musicals, can do musical impressions with the best of them, Ariana Grande is this generation's Jamie Foxx.
What?
Yep. Ariana Grande is this generation's Jamie Foxx.
Because she acts and she's a
She can act. She can sing.
I've seen
she
her
can
on
do impressions.
Fallon doing the impressions.
She's funny. She's great on SNL.
Is that right?
She is good at everything.
A little bit of a fake Panther fan, though, right?
A little bit of a fake Panther fan, but from Boca girl.
Yeah.
And the fact that she can kind of have a fan base in any given dynamic, she is going to crush this. And the one thing I'll add before we wrap, Robert De Niro said of Ariana Grande, and I quote, "The funniest scene partner I've ever had the pleasure of sharing the screen with."
All right, well, that's a lot.
Okay, great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are her thoughts on Trick Williams?
Yeah, Trick Williams is on First Take right now.
You guys suck.
I think he's promoting WrestleMania.
He is?
Let's bring aboard Tom Bogert. Tom
Pretty
Bogert
legend.
from The Athletic, as Inter Miami fired their fired. I mean, they're saying he stepped down for personal reasons, but I don't know that is actually the case. Tom, thanks for joining us here. What can you tell us about Javier Mascherano's resignation from Inter Miami?
Thanks, Zaz. Your skepticism is fair, though he did step down. He chose to step down for his own reasons, but it wasn't just things that happened out of nowhere. From what sources told me, there was some sort of argument in the locker room after the club's disappointing 2-2 draw with Red Bull New York last weekend. A source said that there's kind of been growing discontent since the club was eliminated by Nashville in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, a team that you may remember they beat very, very easily in the playoffs last season. At Miami, the pressure is very, very high. Javier Mascherano and Lionel Messi and some of those guys, what I was told by sources is it's normal for them to get in heated exchanges because they are so close, and these are kind of the athletes at the very highest level. That's how people converse and solve problems. But another source said, like, yeah, how much can one person take?
Tom, I want to shift over to the World Cup a little bit because there have been a couple of World Cup stories that have been out there that it seems as though FIFA and the United States is a corruption marriage made in hell. And some people have had their tickets moved. So first, let's tackle the ticketing before the tailgating. What has happened with the tickets? There were people complaining online that purchased a certain set of tickets, and then they got their tickets, and it wasn't what they bought.
It is so difficult to not be cynical and upset and disappointing. Every time that there's a new update, it is bad. Every time there's a new update, it is just, you think you find the bottom level of, they can't go any more greed. There can't be any more mismanagement. There can't be any more of squeezing out every single penny possible. And then there's a new story every single time. So, there's going to be a halftime show with a Coldplay concert because, of course, there is. Why wouldn't there be a 30-minute halftime at the World Cup? The ticket fiasco is just an absolute joke. There's a reason why there were so many lotteries for the tickets in the first place is that the first lottery wasn't for all of the tickets. It was, let's do a segment of the tickets. Let's see how much we can pay. Oh, there's a lot of demand. Then we can go more. And the way it works is you go in the lottery, and if you're lucky enough to get to beat out some scalpers for tickets, you get your category. If it's category 1, you could be in, allegedly the first row to whatever, the 30th, whatever the number is. It is just sections of the stadiums. Well, then FIFA announced a new section, a new category that was for the first row that was actually supposed to be in the first lottery draw. So they just lied about where the lottery was going to get you because they want to squeeze every single penny out. It's open your wallets. FIFA's here. Watch out. And at every given turn, this is what they're doing. They've already commercialized the game in a literal sense. There are cooling breaks, even at the indoor stadiums. Why are there cooling breaks? Because that makes it into 4 quarters instead of 2 halves, and bang, you have 2 more commercial opportunities.
How different has this whole lead up, this whole process been this year than 4 years ago?
That's a good question. Like, worse. And I don't know if that's just because it's being Americanized and the rush of capitalism and get every single dollar for your shareholders for allegedly a nonprofit organization. I don't know if that's just a sign of the times and things continue to get worse and worse because we were focused more in Qatar over the human rights. There were migrant workers dying in the lead up to that tournament trying to build stadiums. There was the fiasco of the World Cup is always held in the summer. Except in the Middle East, it's 120 degrees in the summer. So they moved it to the winter. And so there was a lot of other things to deal with. And just, again, at every turn, if FIFA's unchecked and they don't feel any shame and they're still going to do all of this, like Gianni Infantino, the president, I think he's feeling some heat over all of the public backlash. They probably won't change anything. But he kind of doubled down on the prices like, all you see, yeah, we make money at the World Cup, but that has to cover literally everything else we do. Well, FIFA survived in 1994. Tony Meola, U.S. soccer legend, starting goalkeeper for the U.S. team at the 1994 World Cup. He was at that World Cup final as a fan, just watching the game because the U.S. obviously didn't get there. He showed me his ticket, midfield, about 20 rows up, $98 face value. That same ticket is like 10 grand.
Wow, that's insane. All right, so another story that broke this week was the alleged story that FIFA had banned tailgating, and then FIFA very quickly came out and said that's not the case. However, the more layers to the onion you peel back, they basically did ban tailgating with all these rules they put in place for these venues. What can fans going to these games expect? And is one of those things ice?
Hopefully not, but it's America, so probably. Their union workers in Los Angeles around SoFi Stadium have filed a complaint about the worry of ice. That's just one thing. It's like whack-a-mole, guys. Like the last time that I was on the show talking about the World Cup, it was like, hey, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with ice? Do you want to start with the human rights? Do you want to start with the prices? It's like all of it's negative because, of course, it is. And like, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. We're all going to watch these games. I'm going to be covering the U.S. day in and day out. I'll be at all of those games, right? Like, so I guess I'm part of the problem by still being there. I know you guys will all be watching and everything, but it just sucks. And the tailgating stuff, what can fans expect? I don't know. They keep changing it every week, right? Like, and I don't trust FIFA. It's what they want is to control just about every aspect that they can. And in control, I mean monetize. They were supposed to have fan zones, and you were supposed to, like, just outside of the stadium, away from the stadiums, to just watch games. They tried to charge tickets to enter and then stick, like, the cities with the bills for security. And while that didn't make much sense, I believe New York, New Jersey have canceled some. Boston has fought back. The New Jersey governor is feuding with FIFA, saying that, like, they were stuck with like a $50 million bill for train tickets and security and like security for those train travelers. So a one-way ticket from New York Penn Station to MetLife, which, by the way, as a New Jerseyan, somebody who uses NJ Transit, I can promise you that's not going to go smoothly. Nothing ever goes smoothly on NJ Transit. That ticket is normally $13. It's going to be like $125. And the governor of New Jersey is like, it's either that or the taxpayers have to pay for it because FIFA is giving us no money while they make $11 billion. So when it comes to tailgating, again, as somebody who grew up going to games at MetLife in the old Giants Stadium, there is nothing around that stadium. If there is no tailgating, you just go into the stadium, I guess. And I guess that's where FIFA can make more money. So I don't know. Maybe there's a future where in the next World Cup, they're going to plan a, hey, if you get tickets to the game, you have to do a FIFA breakfast and a FIFA lunch and take the FIFA tram and then the FIFA hotel and the FIFA after party. And just how many more ways can we make money on this as a nonprofit?
Tom Bogert is with us from The Athletic and the Golazo Network. Tom, I talked about this some with Jess earlier in the week. I was so excited about the specter of the United States hosting a World Cup again. When this was whispered about 20 years ago. God, I can only imagine where the U.S. men's national team program might be, and what an opportunity this might be to maybe crack the 4 major sports. There have been several reasons as to why that isn't the case. There's still an opportunity for this to become a win, right? There's still an opportunity for this to be a real launch pad for the sport here in the United States. But do you fear, like I do, that the United States has simply wasted this opportunity, both on the field and off?
Absolutely. We'll see what the performance is like at the World Cup. There isn't a ton of reason for optimism, save for the November window. They beat a bad Uruguay team, but still Uruguay. They got a little bit of momentum in the fall, and then here in the spring, they got ran off the field by Belgium and Portugal, which isn't necessarily abnormal. I don't think Belgium is like the level of, Spain, Argentina, Germany, like some of the top. They're the second tier. We shouldn't be losing to them 5-2, and there's just all of the renewed questions about everything on the field. Again, you talk about off the field. This isn't for growing the game. This isn't about the comment. I grow up in a life of soccer. I'm a guy who is very narrow-minded in the things that I like. So a lot of my friends and people in my life come from the soccer world. All of them had your same view, Mike, of like, oh my God, can't wait for it when it was officially announced that the World Cup was coming here. And then slowly, they've all given up hope of being able to attend a game. I think like one of my friends won the lottery to watch, like, I think Senegal versus Germany, a halfway decent game, but like everybody I knew tried to get in the lottery, and one person won.
I'm sorry to go real elementary here, but I think some of the audience at least probably aligns with me with being fairly ignorant about international soccer.
Very ignorant.
With what? Yeah, well, I am, and that's fine. I'll wear it. Mike Ryan just touched on it. I remember when I was a kid growing up, it was like, get ready, everybody. Before NASCAR made the same claim, 5th major sport, it was like, look out for professional soccer. It's going to take over America in the next quarter century. It has not. Why isn't, as we sit here in 2026, why is it not that it's potential that the U.S. could make a run at the World Cup this year? Why is it so delayed, or has it not gotten off the pad at this point already?
Damage check. Do you mean the like American interest in the sport of soccer?
No.
US?
I'm sorry. The quality of the team. Why is it not more competitive at this point? This has been a couple of generations of investment and otherwise with like more kids are playing soccer now. Look out. Here comes 2026 already. Tony Meoli happened, forever ago at this point.
No, that is totally fair. And there has been a lot of great work through like the professional pathway system, because the shortened version for those who are ignorant of European soccer is there's no drafts. It is every club team is responsible for developing young players through your academy. The more you invest in it, the better kids you get. Then they go into your team. So you get what you get out of it, rather than, being the Wizards or the Jazz who are tanking and the Cavs get LeBron after, being bad for a while, right? So the American system has caught up to at least mirror what Europe has done and South America and Asia and Africa. And we are producing better players, but the game has continued to get better and better. It's a great question. And again, this is the number one thing around these circles and the people who are planning these things of why it feels like we have players at better clubs and our pathway should be rivaling and our level of coaches. Why are we not seeing this? This was supposed to be a golden generation. And I use that a little bit loosely because when you said golden generation, that makes it sound like it's an aberration. It's a one-off. This was supposed to be the first of the new normal. In 2022, the United States were the youngest team at the World Cup. They got to the round of 16 with the youngest team at the World Cup and a lot of really good stars. Since then, most of the top-end players have either gone backwards or not come anywhere near this potential they're supposed to get. So things are more bleak than they were 4 years ago because that progress hasn't happened. It's not like a video game where, automatically potential is hit. So there's a lot of talented kids to come out, but are they better than you said Tony Meola in 94? We don't have a keeper that's better than that. Definitely not in this one. Tim Howard was the only one since. Tab Ramos is a midfielder on that 94 team. I don't really think that we have any better midfielders. And same thing, Landon Donovan, Clint Dempsey, the forwards, like Christian Pulisic, the star of this team. He hasn't scored a goal for his club team since like October. And he hasn't scored for the national team since he did a Trump dance more than a year ago, right? Like, this is the opposite of what you want going into the World Cup. And Damage Check, it's a long-winded way of saying, I don't have a good answer. These are complex questions, and they should be better than they are right now. And the thought was that they were going to be. So hopefully it's more of a blip, but this is a real bad time for a blip.
Tom Bogart from The Athletic obviously is all over the World Cup, and for more details on Inter Miami's coaching change, you can check him out there as well. Good job, Tom. Thanks for joining us here.
Cheers, guys.
Go Clones.
See
Go Clones.
Jade Cargill is on First Take on ESPN. I think she's promoting WrestleMania.
Is that this weekend?
So, a new episode of Pablo Torre Finds Out dropped early this morning, all right? And this one's going to be fun, all right? Today's episode of Pablo Torre Finds Out is in collaboration with Wired, all right? And it's presenting the results of Wired's 5-month investigation into Madison Square Garden's surveillance state. That's right, MSG surveillance state. We know the New York Knicks, they begin their playoff this weekend, so that's going to get a lot of attention. There's Charles Oakley is in the episode detailing what took place with him. I think it was back in 21, maybe. It was like 5 years ago when he was thrown out of MSG and what has taken place since he was thrown out at MSG. You also have, for instance, Patrick Ewing essentially acknowledging to Charles Oakley that there are cameras and microphones all over Madison Square Garden recording. But let me give you a preview here, and for the visual audience, you'll be able to see the video clip. Let me give you a preview here where apparently, and this is evidence, right? They have a security team at Knicks and Rangers games. This year is from a Rangers game where they have a security team that surveils fans who yell things during the game that are anti-James Dolan, or stuff like sell the team. And here is what takes place when the security team gets wind of fans who are yelling negative things about the owner.
Here's Eversol. 922, just heard a sell the team. Any idea who screamed it?
I'm near 101. Didn't hear it.
9:24 p.m. Now Dolan sucks. Where is it?
All of Section 109 now. Section 110.
So they are out.
Started by two guys on far left. One blue Rangers jersey, one white shirt. Both sell the team and Dolan sucks. I mean, they have something like a protocol for when they hear sell the team or Dolan sucks.
Yeah, which is you're supposed to forward the suck chanters information to the intelligence team for what are called workups.
Forwarded the IDs to the intel team for workups.
Then Eversol says, load in facial.
And yeah, load in facial in this particular context presumably refers to the security team now using the facial recognition technology to flag the fans in question.
And then we can do the workups during business hours.
Sheesh.
I know, load in facial was crazy.
That was nuts. I didn't expect that on today's episode. So that dropped earlier today. Pablo Torre Finds Out. And yeah, MSG, they are surveilling everyone.
It's crazy that he's just using a surveillance state to go after his own personal vendettas. Like, and basically this entire podcast and this article it's insinuating that James Dolan is just the tip of the iceberg on this. Like, this is where all of these arenas are ultimately headed, is surveillance, facial recognition. I mean, they literally tried to send the cops after a kid in Utah for tweeting about James Dolan. That's real, a teenager.
I love the text, just like at a Rangers game. It's the blue Rangers jersey. Hey, thanks.
And a white shirt, helpful. I mean, you can boo the teams and you can express displeasure if you're
They were chanting Rangers suck.
If you're a patron, that usually comes with the admission, right? You can show your support or show your displeasure. We're headed towards a place where there are punitive measures now for showing your displeasure.
So I don't know if you're aware. It may have come up. WrestleMania's this weekend.
I'm just learning that right now.
Can you mention, Mike, the schedule for First Take this morning on ESPN?
So the schedule keeps changing because they had announced Logan Paul. They had announced Triple H.
Is First Take in Vegas?
Yeah, they are in Vegas. But then you keep getting more surprises. Trick Williams and his lemon pepper steppers. They were on First Take, and he's actually he's amazing on First Take, and you can tell Stephen A. loves him. Yeah. And Jade Cargill is now on
boy,
there.
she is a
Yeah,
knockout.
I believe Rhea Ripley is hosting NFL Live later on.
Really? I'm gonna tune in.
And
You like that?
I don't
like
know
that.
but would you doubt it at this point? This is too much.
Danhausen is hosting SportsCenter later today.
This is too much. Kit Wilson.
Where's Gunter?
Kit Wilson was Hembo today on Get Up instead.
Hold on, that's not real.
I mean, it sounds super believable, right?
I had to ask.
I don't think anybody wants this. Wrestling WWE fans are probably like, that's enough. And I know ESPN fans got to be super pissed about this. It has been, I hope, like Front Office Sports does a deep dive. There are some metrics here. The hours dedicated to this. And I'm sure WWE is over the moon. They're getting $325 million a year, and they're getting mainstream promotion. I mean, SportsCenter is
There's
doing
never,
countdowns.
ever been promotion for WWE like this.
This is insane, and it's way too much.
I love WWE. I love pro wrestling. I've loved it my entire life. I'm always going to love it. But there is a part of me where the part that I don't like about this, and I'm not gatekeeping. Like, I think wrestling is beautiful, and I think for people who don't like it, aren't into it, I think A, I think you're missing out, and B, I think if you were to give it a chance, I think there's potential that you would love it. Okay, so I'm certainly not gatekeeping. The more, the merrier. But the part that I don't like is I feel like it's been so much this week that the thing that I love, which as a kid, back in the 80s and then the 90s, I had to hide my love for pro wrestling. Like you couldn't. I couldn't go to school wearing a wrestling shirt. I'm wearing my Roman Reigns shirt right now because I'm a big boy.
Now that's your work clothes.
I couldn't go to school wearing wrestling clothes. I certainly wasn't going to talk about it, because, man, if somebody hears that I like wrestling, like, this is very taboo. This was, like, my little thing that I liked. And the thing that I'm afraid of now is I don't like the idea of people feeling that it's being forced down their throat. And now they're pointing, they hate that this is on their television. Like, that part bothers me because I love this thing, and I don't want people to hate it because it's being forced on them.
This is sort of funny for me because I'm listening to you talk about wrestling, and it's reminding me of how I feel about theater, and then I realized, oh, so this is what your experience is with our own show when I tried to introduce the cast list of Octet. You're like, I don't want this. I don't care about this.
Yeah,
I don't want this on my show.
The thing that I like is cool.
That's lame.
You understand wrestling is just theater, right?
Yes, of course I do.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
But cool, because it's for dudes.
Yes.
Got it.
But that is, Zaz, I think what you're getting at is, and there is an element, I'm a longtime NHL fan, and it's gotten a little more popular, and there is that weird instinct of not exactly gatekeeping, but is this person, this new fan on the up and up, do they care about the sport sufficiently and all of that? But the unfortunate reality is I don't exactly get how it works. Like, I'm one of these people who, like, advertising works, eh? Like, it's worth it to spend millions and millions of dollars for 30 seconds on the Super Bowl ad. That's going to convert the viewer to buying the product. I always consider that for my entire life a little specious, but apparently it works. Same thing goes now with the new executive programming thing, which is just oversaturate it. I mean, it's the same thing with Kevin Hart and Jason Kelsey last week at the Masters. You don't have to be clever. There's no nuance. Just overwhelm the audience with what you want them to watch now.
I mean, they wouldn't
WWE.
They wouldn't be doing it if they didn't feel that the money / metrics were in their favor, right? Like, these are not stupid people in regards to the ones who make those types of promotional decisions, right?
I mean,
yeah, I agree, but I'm with you. It just feels like there's nothing high-minded about it. Just throw the kitchen sink at them, kind of vibe.
I mean, people can sign bad deals, and it's funny that Dave mentioned the NHL. They have plenty of other partnerships, and several opportunities for even wider bases of audience to get familiar with stars of these other sports, and the WWE is certainly benefiting from a treatment that is not one that we see really to any other sports in terms of rotating guests. I'm sure over the course of the year, because this is not, yes, this week it's been crazy. It's literally every day part. It's every quarter hour. There is a WWE thing represented, and if not, it's certainly on the lower third. Tune in this week. That is not attention that any of their broadcast partners get.
And by the way, I am on ESPN Radio tomorrow night, immediately after WrestleMania, hosting like a WrestleMania post.
Good for you.
Tough
Well,
assignment.
by the way, Mike Ryan, I think that's explained by the fact that these are, Taché kind of hinted at it, these are performers, pointing a camera at like, hey, do some marketing. We're going to put you in this spot. Evgeny Malkin or Alex Ovechkin, who struggle with the language, they're not natural performers like someone in the squared circle is. So they translate much more easily to doing Sports Center or otherwise, do the professional wrestlers, right?
Yeah. And so, as you could see, like, not only has WWE been all over ESPN this week with promotion for WrestleMania, which starts tonight. You got WrestleMania SmackDown in Vegas, then tomorrow's night 1, night 2 is on Sunday, and then Raw after Mania. So it's 4 consecutive monster nights for WWE starting tonight. It really is going to be great. I'm very, very excited starting tonight. But WWE and WrestleMania have been everywhere, and that includes the show that Cameron hosts, right? It's called It Is What It Is. You know what I'm talking about, right? And so
that is what it is.
So they had Jey Uso in studio yesterday or 2 days ago.
Imagine that.
Jey Uso was in studio on It Is What It Is.
What do you say?
And I'm gonna tell you, and you may see that. I got a bunch of messages, all right, because there ended up being a scuffle where Jey Uso attacked Cameron, all right. And you will see a young lady, all right, a petite young lady who jumps into the fracas. And I got messages, Zaslow, is that our girl Trista? And that's right. Trista Crick, if you don't know, is a guest host every now and then. I've known Trista for years, all right? And she is a guest host every now and then on It Is What It Is. And our visual audience, you will see here, if you are the audio audience, you'll be able to hear that there ends up being a scuffle where Jey Uso attacks because he was insulted by Cameron. And Trista has to jump into the fray and help break it up.
Listen, Mace, I don't have any more questions. Nick, I'm more mad at you because you keep bringing Saturday WrestleMania here, and you don't bring us a Sunday WrestleMania.
Say less, Cam. I ain't got to be
talking to my
here.
producer, bro. You keep bringing Sunday. I need a Sunday WrestleMania. I don't smell what the Usos cooking. And at the end... He tripped.
I mean, there was Trista standing on top of the table. Trista standing on top of the table.
Stood on business.
That's right. She stood on business. There she is. She is standing on the table as Jey Uso is being pulled away from punching Cameron. Look at Trista. Look at her jumping right into the action. Good for her. Not gonna do.
Would you have jumped in?
Would I have? I would help.
You would have protected Jey Uso, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't like Jey Uso these days, so maybe I would have helped Cameron. Yeah, I'm kind of
Who's
out
been
on
in the most fights in that room?
Me.
Obviously, Jeremy.
Who said me?
Yeah, obviously, Jeremy, Dave.
Hey, Taché has been in a lot of fights.
No, obviously not.
I've got 2.
No, me neither. We're nice boys.
I've got
we
one.
don't-
I've got
and
2.
JB, I've only got 1.
I have 2, but man, I was young. Like we're talking middle school.
I got several murmured from Roy.
Yeah, but I mean, I was a child. I mean,
any as an adult. Anyone as an adult.
College. So
One as an adult.
All right.
Ooh, tell the
Yeah,
tale
I
there,
want the
Mike
tale.
Ryan.
It's pretty embarrassing because it wasn't like that long ago.
It was a couple days ago.
No, it wasn't like a couple days ago. It was a few years ago. I was probably in my 30s, and it was at a Lollapalooza. We were right. Oh yeah. And the guy.
I think you told this.
Yeah, I probably already said too much. I've told you like privately. I don't think I've said this one on the air.
What were you right about? I want to know.
I was right about like the fight, but it was ugly. Some dude got stretchered off. It was a stretcher job. He was okay.
Whoa! Was
Fist
it
me.
you?
No, actually,
Fist
it was
his bump.
It was I'm not gonna say what did it in.
Look who's
Let's
being.
just-
This is
let's
the
just say
ultimate
it was a
show
family
of
affair.
modesty from a man's man. Are you saying, Mike Ryan, that you are the one who delivered the blow that got this guy backboarded?
No, it's actually like no. I'm not gonna say the story. No, we were swinging though. Like he was a big boy.
Holy hell!
Yeah.
Oh, my
Interesting
esteem
story.
for
I actually
you.
lost my wedding band in the middle of that fight, and this was in the infields of Grand Park in the softball.
Was your
fields.
wife with you?
You could say that. Yes.
Oh, that's rough, man. Having a fight in front of the wife because the wives just you're like no, like they don't like.
Not
it.
if you win.
If you only knew.
No, if you only knew. If you only knew how this one went. But I'm not going to say that story. But the very next day, I did find the wedding band in the same infield. Can you believe
wow.
that? Yeah.
Oh, they were performing at Lollapalooza?
Good recovery.
It was during a Red Hot Chili Pepper set.
Tony?
I twice before a Super Bowl threw a dime on the field on the playing surface an hour before kickoff, and then I went back once to see if the dime was still there after the game, and it was not there. The other time I forgot that I had done it. It was
What would have Dave?
So,
What would have happened in the middle of the game? Someone gets hurt, and then on the broadcast they say, "So and so, he's down. He's holding his leg." Upon further review, it looks like he tripped on a dime. What's a dime doing on the field? Why would you do that?
I was an experiment to see if it survived the game, and as I just told you, it did not.
That is so ridiculous.
Well, which
Wanted to see
part?
what would happen?
The dime is ridiculous, right?
Yes. It's like an experiment. You're just like before the game, you're like, what kind of experiment can I do?
It's the biggest event in the world. I wanted to see with cameras pointed at it and all the
Did you
wear
consider
and
a
tear
quarter?
of a pro football game and everything else. No, see that could get it's the nuance that the devil's in the details. As a quarter is big, a guy's cleat might slip on that. A dime, come on.
Oh, so you
It's
felt
too
like you
small
were
a matter.
you were looking out for safety.
That's right. And I did it around the 10, so it wouldn't impact like a kicker. It wouldn't be at a pivotal swing of the leg, like I didn't drop it around like the 30, 35. No, it's like more like the 10 outside the hash kind of vibe.
Speaking of would I have jumped in and helped out, the way Trista did, she was very, very brave. I remember it was during Radio Row, Super Bowl week back in 2020. Super Bowl was here, and you guys, your show was on one end of, your set was on one end of Radio Row. My show, I was back, when I did the show with Amber Wilson, and our show was like at the other end of the convention center. And when we got done with our show, we came over to visit you guys, and it was like seconds after, was it Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal?
They had like a little issue there. I remember that.
But that was like legit. It was right in front of your guys' set, right? That was a real thing.
I remember it happening. I wasn't there when it happened. So I don't remember
I was
the
bringing
details.
back COVID from Thailand at that point.
I remember arriving on the scene immediately after it happened. They were being separated. It was being brought. I was very uncomfortable. It was scary.
You didn't get involved?
I did not like it. I don't know. It made me really uncomfortable. I was glad that I was a few seconds late for the party there.
Anytime anybody has ever in my adult life, or I guess even when I was a teen, anytime anybody ever like gets in my face, like, you want to go, man, you want to go. I can't help. It makes me laugh really hard when people start doing that. People seem so ridiculous. And this is before.
I've been
every
in a
video
million of
you ever
those.
see, every time you've been, like when people are throwing hands at a football game or otherwise and all of that, inevitably, not 99% of the time, 100% of the time, someone's ass crack is making the scene. Like there's a 100% chance of ass being revealed there. And that alone is a reason I would never participate in such things. But I laugh all the time, and it kind of inadvertently diffuses things. That's why I haven't been. People always think like, you don't get punched in the face a lot, Dave, with your mouth. No, I can't. I'm a man of peace, and I think that's conveyed when I start laughing in their face when they start doing like, come on, you want to do something? Come on, bro, let's go, dude. You've been in a lot of that, Mike. You know who has not answered the question about how many fights they've been in? Tony.
I've only been in one fight.
If he can hear me over the Roomba.
Yeah, the Roomba's here. I kicked it out of the way. I've only been in one fight, but it was a melee. It wasn't a one-on-one.
Yeah.
I've never been in a one-on-one.
I was in a melee that ventured off to one-on-one.
No, this
kind
was
of like an Avengers movie.
Yeah, this was a melee between our rival school, Palmetto and Killian. They let us down through a hallway leading into our locker room, where they also funneled all the opponent fans through. So we had a kid on our team, my buddy Kevin, who's
Haas?
been mentioned on the show. No, not Haas. Shithead Kevin. He's been Zaz. You would hate Kevin, by the way. Can you tell Kevin right now he's a shithead?
Kevin, why you gotta be a shithead all the time?
Okay, so Kevin used to go to rival school Palmetto. They called him the P word. He didn't like that. Says, next guy that says that, I'm punching him in the face. Next guy came up to him and said, you're a P word. He went at it. And then all of a sudden, the entire team is fighting the entire kids in the stands. Everybody's throwing haymakers. I got pushed up against a wall. I punched a guy in the forehead. A little bit bigger as a smaller guy. I had to smack him right in the forehead.
Friends, one or two friends of mine over the years has said something to the effect of like, or has been describing his closer friend group. And like sometimes one of my friends will just get into a fight to see if we all have his back. Like, well, if you do that with me to see if I have your back, spoiler alert, I ain't got your back. I'm not jumping into a fight to see if this is
We had to protect the honor of Killian High School, though. This is not about the friends. It's about the green and gold. Yeah, it's about the green and gold.
I almost had to fight a few years ago at a concert. I almost had to fight. Yeah. Yeah, I was at a Slipknot concert. I was at a Slipknot concert.
Talk about a place I'd never be.
I was at a Slipknot concert with my guy Brett Romberg, Hall of Fame.
Oh, it was his
University of
fault, wasn't
Miami.
it?
Hall of Fame, University, Remington Award winner, national champion.
That's a good partner in a fight.
I was at, but it also means that I have to fight. And so I was at the Slipknot concert with Romberg, and we were in the first row of our section, which means we have a lot of room in front of us. You know, it's great. Like there wasn't a row in front of us. And at one point during the concert, some greaser made his way over toward us. Slipknot concert's got some greasers.
Greaser.
Dude's got no shirt.
1958.
Dude's got no shirt on. Okay, he's into it, and he's inching his way closer and closer to being in front of us, which is annoying because we're in the front row of the section for a reason, so no one ever has to be in front of us, you know? And now the guy is, like, totally right in front of Romberg. He's in front of Romberg. And I could tell him, like, oh, man, like, Romberg is getting annoyed. And I don't know if you know, he's not the type to just sit there and be annoyed and not do anything about it. And Romberg all of a sudden pats the guy on the back. Again, no shirt. And it's not really a pat on the back. It's more like a really big smack on the back.
Like
you
Big
know?
Show.
And I'm like, shit. Because if something goes down, like, I'm going to have to do something.
You got to
with
do something
him.
because you can't be a punk.
And the guy turns around and he's like, what? And Romberg goes, you're in my way. And then all of a sudden the guy walks a few steps to his left and he says something to his other greaser friends, you know? And they all turn. They all turn and they look at Romberg, and me too, I guess. They all turn and they look at Romberg, and Romberg just looks at them, doesn't say anything, just shakes his head. No. And they went away. And I was like, thank you, God.